just like that, we are live with the MMA casuals. What's going on,
Yo,
my
yo,
man?
yo. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Very good, very good. So, just real quick housekeeping notes as we wait for the flock to get in here. Just wanted to let everybody know that I have a video out right now. So if you're seeing this in the future, or if you're seeing this right now, more than likely in the future, because we don't have anyone in here right now, but we will in a second. But yes, check out the John Jones video that I had regarding his retirement, hit and run charges, misdemeanors of the heavyweight division, and also PFL can't pay Francis Ngannou. That is the whole entire title, epic stuff. And then on top of that, other John Jones video, John Jones on Tom Aspinall. This fight doesn't interest me. Now he's not fighting in the UFC anymore. By the way, did you know that today he was removed from the fighters list?
Yeah, I did know that.
And then on top of that, as he gets removed from the fighters list, possibly Francis Ngannou could sign to the PFL, because where else would he go if you really think about it, right? What else is Francis Ngannou realistically going to do? Because he can't go and fight at a place that can't afford $8 million to have him fight.
Honestly, man, like PFL is a joke to me, and I'm not a fan of anything that's non-UFC at this point. Like even MMA in general, I actually don't remember when the last time I watched like a card or a fight was, to be brutally honest. But like this upcoming card, man, it has me super stoked. And John Jones retiring, like he's one of the reasons I got into MMA. So him retiring, it's definitely rejuvenated my interest back. So yeah, like. That being said, if the UFC were to hypothetically get Francis Ngannou to come back, which would not happen, but I'm saying if they'd get him to come back and he fought Tom, and then the winner called out John Jones and John Jones fought the winner, that'd be fucking huge.
No, that would absolutely be huge. And considering the fact that if Francis Ngannou was to come back, that would actually be better for Tom Aspinall's legacy. Wouldn't you think? If you really put in perspective, right? Uh,
Yeah.
he is the lineal champion.
Yeah, no, he is, because like he, what do you call it? He beat Stipe, who was Stipe was the UFC champion at the time, and then he beat Cyril Gane, like he defended against Cyril Gane, and then he left, and then Jones beat the guy Francis beat, and so yeah, Francis left as the lineal champion, and in MMA he's been undefeated since leaving the UFC, like in MMA, so technically he is the lineal champion.
And you know what? What makes that complicated is because of the fact that he got knocked out in a boxing match. And I know that doesn't matter because it's a different sport, but
Yeah.
the exterior of it doesn't really look good. It's kind of like this, right? It's kind of like, all right.
Like we've never seen John Jones lose in anything.
Correct. And that right there sort of solidifies John Jones just a little bit more than Francis. And that's why when Francis left, they had to call what you would call an audible in football, right? Basically to change up your plans because of the fact that, hey, you know what you have going on right now is uh, lack of legitimacy in the heavyweight division. So they brought in John Jones, and I think at this point the UFC has probably used them up as much as they could. So that's the unfortunate thing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now you got all this court case going on with John Jones, which, by the way, I've made several videos on this. I urge everybody to check this out, right? The videos that I've made on this. It is about why this fight could have happened, but it didn't happen. Look, do you buy the whole thing about him ducking, in all honesty?
Okay, so like here's my stance on it. I've defended John Jones for fucking like years, and regardless of what it was, like, you know, like obviously like my view on the whole PED argument is like I believe all fighters who've ever been at the top of the game, past or present, are have used at least at one point, if not their whole careers. But like, and then obviously like the outside the octagon stuff, like fucking all the stuff that sent him to jail, like the hit and run, and then the beating his wife, like that's horrible stuff. But it has nothing to do with his MMA career. And like I've defended him against Tom, like in this whole Tom situation for years, because the thing is, to the casual viewer, Tom Aspinall is a relative, like he's relatively unknown. Like a lot of people do not know him, and like John Jones is the reason people know him at all. So the fact that, like John Jones, the Tom Aspinall fight, it's high risk to low reward ratio for John Jones. Like even if he wins, he's just beating another up and comer. Whereas Tom Aspinall, if he wins, he's beating the fucking MMA GOAT, and like it does so much for him. So like, and also like John Jones, like he has a lot of age and a lot of lineage on his career. Like John Jones, just like Vitor and Jose Aldo, like those guys started dominating when they were in their early 20s, like which is not super common for fighters. Like they usually peak around their late 20s to early 30s, but those guys started peaking like right away. And so like there's only so long a fighter can be. So like he's so good that even when in prime, like his last 4 or 5 fights, like he's still winning. And that's the thing. Like Tom Aspinall, like he is a bad matchup. I'd be lying if I said I favored Tom to win just because I can't see someone like John Jones losing. But Tom Aspinall, stylistically on paper, especially with the point of his career John Jones is at, he is a hard matchup. So again, and he's a relatively unknown name. So like it is high risk to low reward ratio. I do think in a sense, like John Jones was quote unquote ducking, but not because he's like a fucking pussy or a bitch or whatever, just because it's high risk to low reward ratio. Like it doesn't make a ton of sense. Tom Aspinall is not a star. He's only as known as he is because his name is attached to John Jones.
Right. We have a comment right here. What's up, boys? Casuals. Weren't you the guy who offered me 1K to eat all the Habaneros in my fridge? Vinny the Guinea says you can't see John Jones losing, bro. Go watch Tiago, Gus, or Reyes fights. Also, he said. What do you say to that comment?
Yeah.
You know this guy?
I'm gonna talk about. I have no clue who this guy is, and I don't even know if it's me he's talking about when he said, "Are you the like?" I don't like. You would have to repeat that comment. I can't even see it, but like he said,
there.
"I was the guy."
It's right there on. If you can see it right now, it's on the comment.
Yeah, 1K to eat all the. Yeah, I have no idea like who this guy is. I've only ever appeared on your channel one time, and yeah, like
And you know what? That one time you appeared on my channel, MMA Holes, the MMA streaming legend, came on, if you remember.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning him to me. Like I personally did not know who he was, but like you mentioned him to me and that he has a big following. And then I checked him out after, and yeah, like that was definitely huge. And honestly, bro, like even though I've only ever appeared on your live stream once, like it was fucking like 5 hours. I really enjoyed it, and like you and I, we've both tried doing like videos since, but like things just didn't come to fruition. Either you weren't able to or I wasn't able to or whatever. And yeah,
hey, but you know what? We
and on
get the
top of
spontaneous down right. I mean, like right now it is such a perfect timing, and yeah, man, just a lot of things going on in life. As I'm sure there's a lot of things going on in your life. The busy streets of Toronto, the busy streets of Sacramento, California, and all of the state of California. I mean, it's that's what it is. Vinny the Guinea says, MMA casuals, I thought you offered me 1K in a stream to do that. Must have been someone else. Okay, so he must have mistaken you for someone else. He says maybe it was MMA Holes. No, Vinny the Guinea, I don't know if it was MMA Holes, but obviously, yeah, MMA Holes came into our chat when me and this gentleman had a live stream going on. It was like a 5-hour live stream, I think, regarding the day before a fight. I forgot which fight it was.
Yeah, no. It was definitely around the time DDP and Strickland were rematching. I think it was right before them.
Yes, because you are the perfect man to put on for that. So yes, okay. Thank you for the reminder.
And remember that my memory and like my analytical skills are just insane, out of this world.
Yeah. No, not a problem at all, man. Not a problem at all. So yeah, going back to which, right? I think
that was like around February. So yeah.
Okay. So, all right, we're right around the same page then. Okay. So, I got to tell you, man. Yes, I'm very much excited for this card. In more ways than one. You see, there's the other ways where other people are not excited for it the way that I am. For example, the prelims. There's a lot of fights in the prelims, which, by the way, with a name like yours, MMA Casuals, you probably don't care, but a lot of them are regional guys, right? Regional guys coming in, but this is what you expect out of a top heavy boxing card. And you know what? Look, every time I bring you in, there's a good theme behind it, right? This fight,
Yeah.
this fight card, it is an MMA casuals fight card, right? When I brought you in last time, it was regarding DDP and Strickland because the first time they fought, you
I
were
was
there
there.
live. Correct. So it was like very perfect to bring you in on that particular perspective and how these guys are going to fight each other. And, it
And
proved to be very, very
yeah,
good.
and I'm a huge, or at least I was a huge fan of both guys at the time. Like, I remember mentioning at when they originally fought the first time, I liked Strickland way more. I wasn't even a fan of DDP, but then towards a rematch, I like DDP more than I like Strickland. Like, I wanted DDP to win, but I still like Strickland at the time. Nowadays, he's just talking too much. He's got annoying. I'm not really much of a fan now, but I still like DDP. He's my second all-time favorite, and coincidentally, my first and third all-time favorite are main eventing this pay-per-view. My first all-time favorite being Charles Oliveira, and my third all-time favorite being Ilya Topuria. So yeah, this is definitely a card I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, man. Well, I tell you what, not only are we going to talk about this card, but of course, listen, we got to bring in politics into the whole entire mix, right? There's been a lot of crazy things that are going on in the world right now. You got Iran versus Israel, and then you got Trump now versus Israel. I mean, what is going on in the world?
Wait,
You,
wait,
as a
wait, wait. Trump
Canadian,
versus. Wait. Trump versus Israel, bro. I thought because like okay, so there are no two countries in the world that are more allied than the United States and Israel. First off, but also
of course.
Trump has supported Israel more than like most other presidents. So this is a bit of
Yeah,
surprising
but
news
you
to
know
me. I did
what?
not know this.
What they got out of him was a wild boy. Okay, that is going to do what he wants and says what he wants. Speaking of a guy that says and does what he wants, Vinny the Guinea. He says, "Hell yeah, bro! Chael Sonnen has been in mine and even reached out on Discord. Okay, voice messaging me saying he went to ESPN on my behalf. Wow. Okay, so yeah, shout outs to that man. You know what? It's always good when you have the big dogs sort of hyping you up and believing in you. Obviously Jesse on fire. I know you got some opinions on Jesse on fire. Many of my supporters, the guys that come on my channel, have a problem with Jesse on fire. But man, for me, Jesse on fire is a guy that has endorsed me, and he's even dropped some super chats my way. So it's sort of hard for
Wait,
me to
when did I say I have a problem with Jesse on Fire? I don't remember saying that.
Oh no, not you. I'm talking about one of the chat members. Some of the chat members I have.
Oh,
They just they think that
my apologies. My
that
apologies.
he's a fake fighter, that he exaggerates his stories, that he what else does Jesse on Fire do? He clickbaits. But you know what? Who doesn't clickbait in this day and age when it comes to the internet? In my humble opinion, you want to know why? Because look, if you're not trying to get people's attention, then you're just going to get passed over by the next content creator. And I'm not saying. I mean, look, there's room for everybody. It doesn't have to be a sense of scarcity, but you got to be able to put yourself in a different pack than everybody else. So that's what I do. I go into politics, geopolitics, along with MMA, also religion. Okay, because there's many people out there that yearn for me and my religious opinions based on the fact that I have a beard, and that alone is either like a point of reference to people asking for wisdom, or a point of reference in their hate towards Muslims. You know what I mean? So you got to find your own niche in that kind of regard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Um, Big Ank MMA. Shout outs to Big Ank MMA. He says, "Hello, my friend. How are you, my man? Shout outs to you." We got MMA casuals in here. Liverking arrested for Joe Rogan. You know what? That's another topic that we can touch on right now. I'm going to put that on the description down below. So this is what I try to do, right? I write descriptions as I am live streaming, just so I can, because a lot of people don't put timestamps for whatever reason, right? I think that you should because, at least people have a point of reference. So we're going to put Liver King uh, versus Joe Rogan. Okay, so as far as Liver King versus Joe Rogan, what do we got to say about
Hold
this, right?
wait. When are we previewing the main card?
We're gonna do that, but let's go on to Liver King versus Joe Rogan right now. Initial thoughts.
Because to be honest, I have no clue what
Okay,
Liverking
so
like.
let me give you a little preface on what's going on, right? Liver King threatened Joe Rogan online, and then for whatever reason, the cops got called, and Liver King is arrested, maybe on behalf of Joe Rogan, and now everybody is saying that Joe Rogan is a snitch.
I don't even know who Liverking is.
Okay, well, Liver King is this social media guy who endorses eating liver meat as some sort of like diet, right? And then
He's talking
later
about.
people found out that he was taking steroids and this and that. He basically a gym bro challenging Joe Rogan to a fight. You've seen these before. I've seen these
Wait,
plenty of times before.
wait. So this guy's telling people to be like a cannibal?
Not a cannibal, but eating liver meat from animals, like liver
Oh,
beef,
okay.
liver chicken, which actually is quite good for you, right? But the problem is he also took steroids, and he didn't disclose that to many of his followers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
To be honest, I'm like, okay, I like I kind of have some positive feeling towards Joe Rogan just because he's been around for a long time. He's like a classic UFC guy, but like I just think he's a bit of an idiot, and well, more than a bit of an idiot. Like I think he's like kind of retarded, and I don't really know what to make of the situation because I don't know who the fuck Liver King is, but like Joe Rogan is kind of like he's a weirdo, and yeah, uh, but like I don't know who Liver King is, so yeah, like I don't know what to say.
yeah. So that it's just news that's going on right now. I figured I'd add it onto the list because you know what, it gets pretty good views. So I figured I'd add that in there along with obviously the stuff that we're going to talk about. Let's read the comments real quick. Okay, so Big Ink says Liver King arrested for Joe Rogan. We read that. Vinny the Guinea says
In one
felony
minute, I'll be
Bennett
back in
banned
1 minute.
me. Wait, hold on. Felony Bennett banned me and shouldn't
No,
have called
I'm
him
not exiting. I'm
felony.
not exiting. I'm saying I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm not exiting. I'm just washing my hands.
Okay. So Big Ink says, Vinny, he got me too, but I had to type another account. Okay, bro, what the heck? Why he banned the mother effing goat? Um, Big Vinny the Guinea says, ask Ankin about Chael thing. He was in the stream when it all happened. How did Ank get banned? Math on fire. Big Ang says, Vinny, which one I forgot? Big Ang says, kind of strange how Liver King does this before UFC 317. Yeah, a bit of what I would consider maybe main character syndrome, perhaps, on the part of the Liver King. How about this? Big Ink MMA says Aljo versus Ortega and Min Yang Zhang versus Walker announced for Shanghai August. Okay, so they got an August card in China. I know they usually have fight nights in China. One of the last, well, I mean, not one of the last times, but I remember one of the few times that Michael Bisping was in one was right after he lost to George St. Pierre, and they flew him out like literally 1 week after his fight just to go fight Kelvin Gastelum and get knocked out. But Vinny the Guinea says, Ilya for okay, thank you for time for the time stamping. Okay, yeah, of course, man. Of course, we got to keep the time stamps going because you know what? Look, I think you're a lazy content creator if you don't do it, right? I mean, I don't know. Everybody has their own style. For me, I like to be organized and let everybody know where they were at or where they need to be. Big Ank MMA says when Kelvin beat Bisping, I thought he would be champ at the time. For real, he looked really good. and then only to find out that the version that Kelvin Gastelum beat was the version that was basically subdued and compromised on the hands of George St. Pierre. I mean, that's really the best way to put it, right? Like George St. Pierre softened him up. I mean, look at the way that Kelvin knocked him out. It was just so easy the way that Kelvin Gastelum was able to knock him out like that. But ever since then, Michael Bisping's career has been, in shambles. I mean, obviously not in shambles in terms of outside of his career, but his fighting career. He had to retire right after that. Right, put that in perspective right there. Michael Bisping fought with one freaking eye. Okay, we're gonna timestamp that right now. Okay.
Wait, I just got back. What brought the conversation about Michael Bisping?
He fought his whole entire career with one eye.
That's not true.
Well, not his whole entire career, but
after the Vitor Belfort, after the Vitor Belfort fight, his left eye got damaged, but it didn't just fully get fucked up. It didn't fully deteriorate to the extent it did right away. Over time, throughout more fights, it got worse and worse. But the Vitor fight is what kind of did him in, and then as his career went on, and as he fought more, it got worse and worse. That's essentially what happened.
Yeah. Michael Bisping is a legend, man. And I can see why the UFC put him in, in the commentating booth. But at the same time, look, he's not one of the brightest people out there either. Look, everything that you said about Joe Rogan, how you say he's a dumb brohead and this and that, I get what you mean. What Joe is, he is the everyday average guy, even though there is nothing average about him in the life that he has going on, right? There's nothing average about Joe, but he tries to play up that role. Well, I'm the average guy. I really don't know anything. I really don't have a position in anything. And then it gets to the point where Joe Rogan sort of becomes a drifter, right? He doesn't really stand for anything. And, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. But recently, he has been going at Donald Trump on the immigration thing because he just thinks that it's an inhumane thing that is going on. Big Ang says, did you catch Tough the other day? It was a guy versus Kazakhstan versus a guy from Uzbekistan, and the Kazakhstani guy won. Vinny the Guinea says, Walker meme KO incoming. Okay, you're talking about the Shanghai card, and then guy from Kazakhstan. So yeah, man. All right, let's get to UFC 317. Okay, let's get to that talk. What is your favorite matchup for this one right now, and is it the main event?
Obviously the main event, but man, outside of that, okay, so I'll say this. I mentioned that I have. Honestly, the last time I was actually really watching MMA was when we had our last call to which is pretty ironic because we've talked about doing calls and stuff since, but we haven't been able to make it worse. But I legit don't remember watching a card since. I've just there's been a lot of stuff going on, but I've kind of been falling at a level with MMA too. It's kind of been going downhill, but this has rejuvenated my interest. Because I love the two fighters in the main event, as well as John Jones retiring is a big deal too. But okay, so I will say this is a decent card for this day and age because of how shitty MMA's gotten. But for the standards of an international fight week card, it's really not that good. The main event is kind of carrying it, in my opinion. I'm not really interested in seeing. I'm not a big fan of the flyweight division, but we've already seen Kai Kara-France versus fucking Pantoja before, and I'm not saying that Kai doesn't have a chance, but it's a rematch of a fight we've already seen. So yeah, I'm not too excited for it. Honestly, okay, can you to be honest, I can't even think of other fights on it off the top of my head. Can you list the other fights on the main card?
Okay, so I believe there is a Paulo Costa fight that was supposed to be on.
No. That's canceled. Against Roman Kopylov, that's canceled.
Correct. But there's Brandon Royval and Joshua Van. Joshua Van is an up and coming flyweight right now, and he is a force to be reckoned with in the 125 division. Has very good striking, good boxing. Comes from Myanmar, ethnic background, right? His family had to flee a warring country and then having to migrate to Malaysia and then eventually move into Houston, Texas, where he found MMA.
I've never watched Joshua Van.
Vinny the Guinea says the Cyclops man was mid. Okay, I'm not sure which one you are talking about. Michael Bisping. Okay, he's talking about Michael Bisping. Okay. And then there's Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano. Obviously, Renato Moicano coming off of the Islam Makhachev fight.
On short notice. On short notice, yeah.
On short notice, correct.
Okay, so are those all the main card fights?
No, hold on. But wait, there's more. There's more. Hold on. There is more on that card. But a lot of them are names that you don't know. That's why I said there's a lot of.
I'm talking main card, meaning not the whole card, just main card.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me go to Tapology.
You could search up. It's UFC 218, right? Or no, 318.
No, this is 317.
You could just search up UFC 317 on Google and I'll show you the main card.
Oh, okay. Big Ink MMA says Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. Yeah, obviously it's one of those fights where, at least I thought it was a prospect where they're just trying to give him an easy fight, but Felipe Lima's pretty legit.
Wait, so is that a main card fight though? Is that a main card fight?
That is a main card fight, yeah.
So now that you listed the five,
yeah, that's a main card fight.
Okay, so yeah, I would have to say Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano would be the fight I'm interested for second most, but it's not because I think that's a killer fight. Like maybe a few years ago it would have been great, but I think Beneil is too washed up now, and I expect Renato to run through him. I hope I'm wrong because but I don't think it's going to be a great fight. But the flyweight division is just boring as shit. Joshua Van, and I know he's super active, so I respect him, but I've never seen him fight. Brandon Royval, he's a savage, but he's a good guy too. He has a lot of heart, but the flyweight division, I'm just not a fan of. So I would say outside of the main event, it would be Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. But honestly, man, outside of the main event, I don't really care about any of these fights. I probably will watch Beneil versus Renato, maybe, but that's not guaranteed. And I may watch the co-main, but that's not guaranteed. It's the main event I'm really focused on. Honestly, bro, if Charles Oliveira gets that title, because he's my all-time favorite fighter, so that will really get my passion for MMA back up there, real talk.
Well, it's funny you say that because the casual MMA angle would be to go with Ilia Topuria. When you look at someone like Ilia Topuria, you know what the guy looks like? He looks like a soccer player, right? Which is the reason why he attracts a lot of the European audience. He has that Lionel Messi, I'm the training partner, or I'm sorry, I'm the teammate of Ronaldo in some championship league team, this and that, right? He has that look about him, but also he doesn't look like a fighter. He looks like a soccer player, which I think a lot of European people love.
You really think he looks like a soccer player and not a fighter?
Yeah, he does. He looks like a soccer player to me, and that's not a dig at soccer players. It's not to say that soccer players are not tough people or anything like that. But he the way that he presents himself. Obviously, if you see a person and you know that
fair, yeah. He does present himself as that type of Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi type. Yeah, and his last. Oh wait, is it pronounced Topuria or Topuria?
Topuria.
Okay, yeah, no, because I was about to say, I just wanted to make sure I did not have the wrong pronunciation.
Yeah, Topuria. It's pronounced Topuria, and he looks like a soccer player. because that is the main influence within his region. By the way, all you guys out there that are watching this right now, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, subscribe to MMA Casuals channel as well. He's an upcoming channel I wanted to put on and collaborate here. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Vinny the Guinea says, are Muslims non-Muslims less than? We're not going to answer that. Vinny the Guinea says Costa would be coloring on the IQ test. Okay, very interesting. Vinny the Guinea says because Cyclops wasn't a zinger or anything. What was that?
Was he asking about non-Muslim fighters or just non-Muslims in general?
I don't know. I don't know what
Okay,
he was.
let's ignore that.
I don't know what he was referring to. You know. But yeah, man. So okay, tell me more about the main event. What makes you excited about this main event? Obviously, there's a double championship that should have been on the line. But well, okay, let's go off of that. What do you think about that? Like, should there have been a double championship opportunity for Ilya Tapora?
Well, like he still get okay, that is kind of a hard one because like okay, if we're looking at what past champions have been permitted to do, then I would say that it's fair. Like if we're comparing it to what past champions were allowed to do, then I'd say it's fair that Ilya gets to do the same. But I do like this better because it's not like I'm tired of fucking champions holding up divisions. And like honestly, at this point, the whole double champion thing, it's lost its novelty by now. Like it was cool at one point, but
Do you
then
think
everyone.
Conor McGregor destroyed it?
Yeah. Well, no. It was like okay. I don't think he does like based off logistics and meritocracy, he didn't actually deserve a lightweight fight. But obviously, based on star power, I see why he got it. But like, it would like I didn't mind when he did it, but like after he did it, everyone wanted to start doing it. Like the super fight, like the super fight only meant something when it was something like like GSP versus BJ Penn or like like dream matchups like GSP versus Anderson Silva or Anderson Silva versus John Jones or like John Jones versus fucking like Stipe in their primes, like that's when it would have fucking that would be a true super fight because like that's when like you have two champions who've cleared out their fucking divisions and that's when it actually means something. And like even fighters like Volkanovski and even Fradesania, who I hate, like actually no, not really Fradesania because he only really beat Costa, Whitaker, and like Romero in a fight that wasn't really a fight. But like Volkanovski, like I can see why he got it, but Islam just beat Charles when he was defending the belt. Like Volkanovski versus Oliveira, that would have been a good super fight. And I'm not like Islam obviously has proven himself since, but like at the time the only elite win he had was Charles. So like even then it was iffy. But Volkanovski at least I will say deserved to move up in weight. But yeah, I'm tired of this whole double champ stuff, and I'm glad that Ilya vacated and he's focusing on lightweight right now. But that being said, I'm a huge fan of the guy, especially since he beat Max Holloway, who I fucking hate. But Charles Oliveira is my all-time favorite, and like Ilya Topuria is my third all-time favorite. I only like Charles and DDP more than him, but like I really want Charles to win this. But that being said, man, like this is just an exciting fucking fight. Both those guys are the most exciting fighters in the sport, and like I can see either of them winning this in any way. But man, Ilya Topuria, he just has this sort of aura and confidence about him that I don't know. Like I don't know, man. I want Charles to win, but I don't know what to say. Like who do you think wins this?
Well, I tell you what, I'm going with Ilya Tapora, and I can understand why you would see that Charles Oliveira could win this. And by the way, I noticed that Charles Oliveira is like a hardcore fan's favorite, right? Is it because of the redemption story that he had going on? Wait, let's read some comments here, and then I want you to get to that, okay? Fresh Melon Juice says, Islam explained it well on his interview on MMA Junkie. Islam can't be healthy and fight more than twice per year in a lower division. He can fight 3 times a year in a new division. Okay, that's very interesting. Vinny the Guinea says, but you can say it cleverly, or say some pizzazz or something. Very generic description. By the way, very dull. That was in regards to you. Fresh Melon Juice says, Islam said that it's wrong towards his old division to keep the belt. Vinny the Guinea says, many casuals. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, Islam should have gotten the chance for the double champ status like Volk did. then relinquished the belt right after.
Wait,
Vinny the
what
Guinea
is
says,
Vinny the Guinea?
Beam
Wait. What
casual.
is Vinny the Guinea saying in response to me? I don't understand.
He's just trolling. I think he's
No.
trying
But
to
like,
respond to
no.
Red Hot Chili Peppers saying something about you.
Wait, what?
Can you read?
Okay,
Can you
okay.
read the
No.
comments?
To be honest, like I'm not, I'm not really bothered by it. I just wanted to know what specifically he was talking about in regards to this. It.
I don't know. Uh, Vinny the Guinea, please elaborate on the comment section if you will. CE says, Salam alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah barakatuh to you, brother. So back to my question that I was asking, right? My question was, why do you feel that Charles Oliveira has this particular like love from not only MMA casuals but also hardcores alike? Is it just because of the redemption that he's gone through in his career path?
Wait, is that a question for me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like Charles Oliveira, along with a few select other fighters such as um, Glover Teixeira for sure, Michael Bisping, Jan Blachowicz, Rafael dos Anjos, like those guys, they all have that Cinderella Man story. Like I know you know what Cinderella Man is. Like they all
Oh,
have
of course.
yeah, they all have crazy hardcore stories. But like one thing about Charles is like before getting into MMA, like his upbringing was ridiculous. You can't really say the same for all those other guys. Like Charles Oliveira, like he wasn't even supposed to fucking live. And like he like MMA hasn't even been his like no MMA fight has been his hardest battle. So like I think like it is his story, but he's also just such a nice person. He exudes aura. He's so fun to watch. He's so unproblematic. He does not like drama. He's not really like okay, and like this is partially because he's not really someone who speaks English, but like he's not a trash talker. Like there's no reason for someone to actually dislike him unless you know like they just like to hate on greatness and like they're just like you know like sad people who you know like just like to hate on people like Charles Oliveira for no reason and or like they're just hardcore fans of people who Charles have been rivals with in the past or like they're hardcore fans of people Charles have beat or like whatever you know like and I will say a lot of these fans are like Muslim fans who like you know are diehard like Islam Habib fans and like even after Islam beat him like you know they still like to downplay Charles like I have noticed that too but yeah like not many people dislike Charles and like obviously Ilya Topuria like he like okay he's playing a character so like and I totally get that and like I'm a huge fan of him but I like Charles more but like
You
that being
think
said
Ilya Tapora is playing a character? How so?
1,000,000,000%. And like I'll get to that, but like let me continue with what I was saying. So Ilya Topuria,
Okay.
he like so like okay, he's obviously you know been like his English isn't the best. Like it's decent. It's better than Charles Oliveira's English. Obviously, like he can speak enough to sell himself. But my point is like he like he just like he seems like a genuinely nice guy in real life. He's just like you know, like he's just been saying whatever the fuck to like draw eyes, play the heel, whatever. And but it's also the fact that he took out two huge fan favorites and knocked them the fuck out cold in Volkanovski and Holloway. And like those are guys who are beloved at least comparably to Oliveira, you know. So like that's another reason why people would dislike him more, or why people would dislike him, along with the fact that they like Charles more. There's no doubt that Charles Oliveira is liked more by fans overall, but Ilya Topuria, he's definitely the betting favorite heading into this. I think the betting lines are way too wide. But that being said, a lot of people have Ilya winning.
Okay, call me back once you decide. Yeah. Okay, so I see what you're saying, right? The Cinderella Man story that has a lot of explanation behind it. The comeback story, also just the no bullshit drama attitude that he has in the world of fighters, where they sort of play characters. Now, you say that you think Oily Topora plays a character. Now, that's interesting. What sort of brings you to this conclusion? And now, after you
Well,
answer that, I want to read some of these comments right after. Go ahead.
okay, so yeah, like he like you can see how he's like with like you know like friends and even like interviewers and just fans who are like you know like nice to him and not like you know like just not being like like if you really look into it, like you can see that he's playing a character, and like even like okay, so I'll say for example, in the lead up to the Volkanovski fight, like he was at the press conference, he was just mimicking Conor, like you know how Conor was taking Jose Aldo's belt, he was just taking Alexander Volkanovski's belt like during the press conference, like just to play a heel, but like he showed
Well,
like
real quick,
he's
I wanted to press back on that, right? The belt taking thing, right? Wouldn't that be just standard in terms of a title fight, and being that the belt is a prop and there to be grabbed?
no, but you don't really see many fighters doing that. And like Ilya was like, it was obvious, especially during that presser, that he was just
Only the
trying to.
unhinged fighters, right?
It was obvious to me that he was just trying to attract heat in any way possible. And also like another thing is like, okay, he was saying for a while, yeah, I'm not gonna give Volk a rematch, I'm not gonna fight Max, I'm not gonna fight any one of these guys, I deserve everything. Like he was just saying stuff to attract heel heat, like especially after Max knocked out Justin at UFC 300. People were saying, oh yeah, Ilya's ducking Max is gonna fuck him up. But what happened? Ilya fought Max and he knocked Max out cold. The first person to ever
So
fucking
this
do
is
so.
what you mean. This is what you mean by him being, sort of a gimmick.
Yes, but like going back to the belt taking thing, because like he was acting like like he was just mimicking Connor basically there, but also like with Volkanovski, like he's looked up to the guy as a fighter, like growing up, and like Volkanovski is one of his favorites to this day to watch, and he's said nothing but good things about Volkanovski since, and he's been super nice to Volkanovski like in actual exchanges. Like I remember in their face-off, when they faced off before they fought, Ilya was literally saying, I respect you as a man, as a fighter, as a professional, but I'm just here to chase my dream. Like, and he was saying that in the face-off, like you can hear it during UFC Embedded. He was just saying that, and this was the same press conference where Volkanovski came dressed like an old man, like because Ilya was calling him an old man, and Volkanovski was like,
Correct.
he was understanding what was going on.
I mean,
Volkanovski was
that's
just
pretty gimmicky, that
yeah.
in of itself, right? And not only that,
Volkanovski.
it's also hyper self-deprecating.
Yeah, no. Like I could tell Volkanovski, like, okay, I'm sure he was like trying to like going along with it, trying to sell the fight, but he was. I think Ilya was also getting in his head a bit, and like it worked too. But the thing is, like, Ilya even said like during the face off, like, and this was after the taking the belt and stuff. Like he was literally just so calm, and he's like, I respect you as a man, as a professional, as a fighter. I'm just here to chase my dream, and like it was literally just like so calm and like it was spoken from the heart for once, unlike everything else that was happening during the presser. And Volkanovski, like at that moment, he truly understood that Ilya was just fucking around, and like he even acknowledged it, and like he patted Ilya on the shoulders. And yeah, that's how it was obvious to me from the start that Ilya's just playing a character. And honestly, I kind of like it. But yeah, man, like anyone but Charles, I'd be rooting for Ilya against. But like this is Charles, so I want Charles to win. And yeah, that's that's the bottom line. But that being said, I'd be lying if I said I favor Charles. I can see either fighter winning in any round and any method, whether it be like decision, submission, knockout, whatever. But like yeah, man, like
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
let's
Yeah.
get to these comments real quick. Okay, so Vinny the Guinea says, bro, if I type it, it's a banger. Reread till you get it, brother. And then Vinny the Guinea says, I was critiquing MMA casuals' bland delivery. I want entertainment with my entertainment, if that's cool with you, bro. Okay. Fresh Millings, who says, think you need a better mic. Man, are you talking about me or MMA casuals? I'm actually just using a headphones mic. I don't know about MMA casuals, but Red Hot Chili Pepper says Oliveira's only chance is to submit to Poirier, unfortunately. Vinny the Guinea says Olives needs 25 IQ points fast, or he'll get cooked against Ilya around 3 or 4 banishment. Vinny the Guinea says downplay Charles. He got dropped in every fight. He had a chance against Chandler. Gaethje did it 3 times in 1 round, laughing my ass off. Charles equals damaged goods. CTE Charlie Olives. That's from Vinny the Guinea. Fresh Melon Juice says Ilya is playing a character, and the character is Conor McGregor. Ilya is a copycat. Shout out to Fresh Melon Juice on that. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, we need more characters like Taporia in the UFC, though. It's good for the sport. Vinny the Guinea says, MM Gray casuals. Fresh Melon Juice says, Ilya's every moment, tattoos, etc. is Connor. Pre-fight, he mimics Connor's movements. Vinny the Guinea says, I disagree with so much of what this guy's saying. I can't type it all. I'll turn on Chael Sonnen if I want generic ass takes. Okay, so Matua says MMA casuals is on all Adderall, he says. Red Hot
No,
Chili
no, no, no,
Peppers
no.
has
So,
it
so
up.
I have
Wait,
ADHD.
hold on. Let's continue hold on. Let's continue
Sorry.
Vinny the Guinea says, turn on the camera, prove you're not, he has a picture of a nose. So I guess he's saying, that you're not one of them boys. I think is what he's trying to say. LOL at Matua. You see the kind of people that I attract in here. Isn't this awesome? Matua says, where did y'all find this dude? Well, I found him in an MMA chat, and I told him to start an MMA channel, so here he goes. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, all these fighters like each other for the most part behind the scenes. It's only the brain dead fans that think otherwise. Vinny the Guinea says, MMA Adderalls. Matua says, a big egg, this dude is going a million miles an hour. Matua says, MMA casuals clearly got something to say. Okay, Matua says MMA casuals is fun. Okay, there you go. Fresh Melon Juice says, I want Ilya and Aspinall to lose. What a hater. You want Ilya and Aspinall to lose. Well, who is Aspinall going to lose to now that John Jones is gone? Maybe Francis Ngannou, right? Vinny the Guinea says, you need a personality in the first place to be playing a character. Okay, Ilya is stealing McGregor's gimmicks because he's a dullard. He called Ilya Tapora a dullard. Fresh Melon Juice says, yes, you, Mike. Okay, regarding the mic. Okay. Vinny, well, I have better, sound quality. I guess I use mics when I'm doing the live stream because I have to use the, the software. But most of my live streams I just do on my phone. So, Red Hot Chili Pepper says, Vinny the Goof, laughing my butt off. Vinny the Guinea says, agreed, Melon. If Oliveira can throw a diverse of kicks and kicks placement and a high volume, Do Bronx got a greater chance. Vinny the Guinea says, I'm sober, dude, laughing my butt off. Matua says, I think Do Bronx can be successful in the clinch standing. Okay. Matua says, LOL. Vinny the Guinea says, none of you can come up with one clever equip. I'm clever equipped 20 in this chat. LOL. You're a goofball, mate. Wow. Okay. So we got some people fighting in the chat. Okay. Good for the engagements. It was a compliment, you donut. LOL, Matua says. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, you are an MMA guru, but go off, Vinny. Okay, Matua says, ha. Vinny the Guinea says, I've heard all the MMA casual takes ad nauseum every time I watch MMA stream ESPN. Okay, so, well, that's why he's called MMA casuals, my boy. You know what I mean? Big Ink MMA says, only the guys give Tom a tough fight is gone Almeida. But other than that, I don't see anyone beating him. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, who watches ESPN? What kind of comment is that? Who watches ESPN, bro? You have to watch ESPN to watch these fights.
Bro, Vinny the Guinea is just trolling.
No. That's Red Hot Chili Peppers that said who watches ESPN. I laugh because it's like, how do we even watch the fights without ESPN?
No. I wasn't replying to the ESPN thing. I'm just reading through these comments and I'm saying
there's more. Hold on. You know, this is what happens when you get the big times. You know what I mean? You get, consecutive comments in a row. Vinny the Guinea says, Chili Peppers. I eat 1,000 habaneros per stream while doing impressions better than Guru and moving things with my brain. Chael Sonnen reached out. MMA Aryan. All right, man. Shout out to Vinny the Guinea. Everybody subscribe to his channel. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, Francis at Big Ink. Fresh Melon Juice says, the mic is not a problem when you're solo, but when you have a guest, the volumes aren't syncing. Okay, I see what you're saying. Big Ink says, Francis, sure, but don't won't Dana let him back Red Hot Chili Peppers? He says perhaps we will see. Big Ink. Matua says if Johnny Walker goes up to heavyweight, it would be fun. Red Hot Chili Pepper says I'm a pirate, buddy. FESPN. Okay, so all right, so yeah, just don't narc yourself. You know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, but in tail, we all have to watch ESPN. Okay, like who watches ESPN? I'm sorry, that comment is just so funny to say at an MMA chat. Johnny Walker is cooked versus Ming Yang Zhang. I agree. That kid is he's serious business. Ming Yang Zhang can beat Tom. I don't know about that. Matua. Red Hot Chili Pepper says he get KO'd in even more fun ways. Matua. Matua says yes. Vinny the Guinea says shukran, Kaidi, my friend. Hank said you look like a Muslim Mark Hunt. Okay, I'll take that. That's a pretty good compliment. You know, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was talking about the MMA talk shows on ESPN. Anyways, dude. Vinny the Guinea says Mark Harb. Okay, as in like Mark Al Harb, like Harb because it's a common Arabic name. By the way, Harb means war. So if your last name is Al Harbi, your name is the warrior, right? So if you're Arabic, that is. Fresh Melon Juice says Pantoja can beat Tom. Stop it, man. You know what? I should remove that comment. Pantoja can beat Tom Aspinall. You know what I mean? That's as funny as, you know, who watches ESPN and you're saying that in an MMA chat. All right, so thoughts on the comments and MMA casuals. What do you think of my crazy fan base that I got going on?
I'm impressed with the following you've managed to build. You've definitely put a ton of work into your channel. So first off, I commend you for bringing the following. Although, yeah, a lot of trolling going on. Like, you know, like the ESPN thing, and then like obviously like Pantoja beating Aspinall. Like, come on, but like, yeah, like the most obvious troll on here is Vinny the Guinea, and I did want to address the
because
Adderall
he's a
thing earlier.
YouTuber himself. You know, we got a few YouTubers in here as well. A Big Ank MMA is also, you know, a YouTuber. Vinny the Guinea's also a YouTuber. So yeah.
Uncle Ive is like Uncle Ive along with I guess Ikram and Shavkat. They're like the only Muslim fighters I like. But okay, no. That being said, I did want to address the ADHD thing. I'm or the Adderall thing. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, but I don't normally take medications. Like if I was on Adderall, I'd be talking much lower right now. The reason I'm going a million miles an hour is because I'm not on anything and I'm just letting my natural ADHD fucking skyrocket right now.
Yeah, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. And you know, for those that you know, do make fun of him for that, I mean, listen, you know what? Shame on you. You know, you should know better because look, here's the thing, right? I made a comment the other day, right? I said, you know what? I will never diss anyone for being bald. A lot of y'all will diss somebody for being bald and then go out of your way and listen to a Tupac record or listen to an Andrew Tate video. Ambitions of a hypocrite. Bars. You see, because you know that's Tupac's song, right? You know, Ambitions of a Rider. So yeah, you know what I mean? In other words, yo, look, if you're making fun of somebody who's bald, okay, it could be Andrew Tate, it could be Tupac, who, by the way, suffered alopecia.
I totally get the stuttering. No, the stuttering. That makes sense. That makes sense. If it's just the pitch I'm talking at, that's not a big deal. But the stuttering is a huge problem that I've had for a long time. Fresh Melon Juice, he definitely has a point there.
All right. Well, awesome of you to be able to, you know, be very strong in, you know, in having these types of conversations. And of course, listen, it's the internet. Listen, all engagement is good engagement. Always remember that, right? That's the bottom line. Boom. I just got a kill right there on GTA Online as we are having a conversation. This is great, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay, so you're going for Charles in the main event.
Thanks, Big Unk. I appreciate it.
What was that?
No, I was saying thank you to Big Unk MMA. He's saying the stuttering is what the chat is talking about, but you're a good guest, and I'm saying I appreciate it. No, I will say right now, the stuttering is a big problem. If I could get that in check, then honestly, I think I'd be really fucking good at this. But like, you know, like, yeah, I think the fast talking, that's not as much of a problem as long as people can understand what I'm saying. But yeah, the stuttering, if I could change that, it'd be more professional for sure.
Rhett MMA says, what's good? How are you, my man? Vinny the Guinea says, How many genders are in your? Oh man, come on now. You going to be mad if I say the wrong pronouns? Well, I mean, listen. You know what? Like all I'm saying is, look, you don't know what a person is going through, right? Now, look, I know MMA casuals offline, right? Off YouTube. I know him off YouTube. He's a social media friend of mine, right? We met in the MMA chat. I thought that he had a lot of good takes. Uh, I know that he has a very thick skin on top of that, right? Okay, but what if you run across somebody that is not thick skinned or somebody that didn't voluntarily put themselves out there on the internet? Now it's okay for MMA casuals to come in here, right? Take the fire and heat. I mean, this is something that he, does with MMA chats anyway, because he's built a few MMA chats, which I thought were rather interesting, and you have a great following that he has in there as well. So I know he has thick skin, but imagine if you were to do that to somebody who's but I guess it's okay because it's the internet, right? Because all engagement is good engagement by the end of the day.
Yeah, no. Like, I appreciate all the comments on here and like everyone who's actually tuned into this. Like, I'm wanting more people to tune in, especially if I'm on. And like, regarding the ADHD thing, like I was offended by it, but I did want to address it because like it like, what do you call it? Like the Adderall and stuff like that, like to people that have ADHD, like if you have ADHD and you're watching this, do not take any of those fucking drugs. That stuff is fucked up. Like you will literally kill yourself taking that shit. Like I'll tell you right now, you will kill yourself taking that shit.
Why do you say that? What brings that comment about? Like what is the deadly consequences about it?
Well, smoke some weed, bro. You'll slow down. Now, I used to smoke weed, but not. Weed gets me paranoid and shit, and like it makes me crash out and do some crazy shit. And like sometimes it just makes me talk even faster too. But Matua is actually Matua is probably my favorite out of everyone on here. Not that I dislike anyone here, but yeah, Matua, he seems like a smart guy, and he's very appreciative of my takes on here. But
Yeah.
Going back to the Adderall thing though, like, man, so okay, it's like it's an amphetamine, it's a stimulant, and like, bro, I'm telling you, like those types of drugs, like Adderall, Vyvanse, Dex, Concerta, fucking like they're they're in the same class of drugs as fucking methamphetamine, like those hard drugs that fuck you up, that like those things, they put tears in your heart, they put microscopic holes in your heart, like you will actually kill yourself taking that stuff. Like, to anyone who's watching this and has ADHD, please do not fucking take those drugs. You will kill yourself taking them. I'm saying this to someone who cares.
Wow, man. All right. Well, thank you for that very informative infomercial. Right? Usually we get a lot of infomercials on. All right, you got to take these drugs.
Wait, hold up. Fresh melon juice. I'm saying this as someone who has a past with drug abuse.
Okay, hold on. Let me get to the comments in that regard. Okay, because Pantoja versus Makayev would be a blowout. Okay, Vinny the Guinea says, okay, that's a very interesting comment. Big Ank May says Rizvan Kunia versus Shamil Gaziev. Okay, are Tom Aspinall's nightmares. Yeah, that's true. They are some of the man. They got Dagestani heavyweights now. So how about that? Gaziev's supremacy. Red Hot Chili Pepper says not a fan. Not a fan at Ank. By the way, unfortunately. Okay, so Fresh Melon Juice says it's the stuttering that makes it weird, not a big problem. Vinny the Guinea says, how many? Okay, we answered that. Rhett knows MMA says, what's up? Matua says, ambitions of a hypocrite. Yeah, that was in reference to when I said I'll never diss anyone who's bald. There's people out there that listen to Tupac and then will go listen to an Andrew Tate video and diss somebody for being bald. And I call that ambitions of a hypocrite in reference to Tupac's ambitions of a writer song. Stuttering is cool. Matua says, Red Hot Chili Peppers bald. SpongeBob. Matua says, stutters on Big Dog. Vinny the Guinea says, Joe detected, opinion rejected. Big Ank MMA says, yeah, the stuttering is what the chat is talking about, but you're good guest MMA.
I already addressed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just reading it. Yeah. Red Hot says, don't use like so much. It's annoying. Vinny the Guinea says, bro, make the Yehudi defend his PDF Ilya religion. Make the Yehudi okay. Matua says the stuttering ain't okay. The greatest voice ever, James Earl Jones Jr. of Vitor was a stuttering man. Don't give up. Just don't be
What's a
one of
Jew?
the boys.
Oh! Is he saying is he just spelling Jew as in JOO like when he's meaning to say JEW or?
Correct.
Okay.
You're good. MMA casuals. Matua says Red Hot Chili Pepper says MMA casuals should take some speech classes. It helps. Ooh. Okay. I took one in college and it made me a much better public speaker.
Yeah.
I did take that class as well. Vinny the Guinea says, yeah, I'm just building excitement, and the beef casuals hope you don't take it personal. Fresh Melon says, thick skin, he is a hippopotamus. MMA, okay, we're going to remove that comment. Matua says he's an alligator. Everybody got ADHD. Matua says, Vinny the Guinea says, MMA casual. Red Hot Chili Peppers smokes. Okay, weed, bro. It'll slow you down. Take Adderall. Matua says, give your Adderall to then MMA casuals. Okay, so he's asking for it. Red Hot Chili Pepper says Haktua. Love the amphetamines. It's my style. But Matua says it's one of the molecules away from cocaine. Fresh Melon Juice says that dude who doesn't take drugs sure knows a lot about them.
Address that. I already addressed that.
Chili Pepper says I'm on the faint drip. Red Hot says that's what's up. Makayev is dope. Correct. Red Hot Chili Peppers with the emoji face. Jock Van about to get a title shot. I would never take those drugs. I would just take fent combined with LSD. Wow. Okay, Shamil equals Khabib Nurmagomedov. Matua says nice, fresh. Red Hot says kablob. If anyone is struggling, make sure to drink lots of water. Okay. Matua says, yeah, don't forget to number one. Big Ang says, like the chat is active today. That's right, man. The chat has definitely been active today. And, and it's all within the, look, it's also MMA casuals. It's a big contributor to that. There's no denying that, right? Whenever you bring or evoke a certain emotion out of people, right? Whether it's something out of positivity or something of a mistake that you did, hey, all publicity is good publicity, as they say in the world of PR.
Sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Cali is active. Yeah, that's right, Matua. Cali is definitely active, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we get down out here in the West Side. I've been here like a warrior Harvey since one viewer. Yeah. You know what? Shout out to you, Vinny the Guinea. You have been, right? You have been one of my supporters since viewer one. And, and so is MMA Casuals. I would say, I think he was there in the early days as well, right? When I was starting out with a few, subscribers. So, man, I never forget the people on the way up. And, that is a good life lesson that I would like to convey to everybody. Always think of those that are, that have had your back since day one,
Yeah. No, 100%, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So what about the co-main event? Kai Kara France taking on, let me put this on a timestamp right here. 1 hour, 4 minutes co-main event. Okay, so the co-main event, right?
It says 103:46 for me.
Okay. So 1 hour and 1 hour and
Oh,
4
wait,
minutes.
No, you started this a bit before I came on. That makes sense.
Yeah. So so that's where we're at with that. So okay, with that in mind, what do you think about the co-main event? Look, Kai Kara France, right? 1-3 in his last 1-2 in his last 3. And he's got a title shot. What does that say about the flyweight division?
Wait, he's 1-2? Wait, no, because of that. I didn't watch the fight, but like people are saying the Amir Albazi fight was like a robbery or whatever. I know he lost to Moreno, but then he beat Steve Erceg, who did come close to winning the title against Pantoja. Like he did knock him out. So, but that being said, like like I'm not interested in this fight. I may or may not watch it, but like I think Pantoja probably
Like
does
a
win
true
again.
casual spoken.
Yeah,
Really like a true casual
yeah,
spoken,
no,
right?
I
You're
legit
just gonna wait.
I legit am a casual in this, especially with how MMA has gotten out. But that being like the main event, I'm really hyped for. But like, okay, I will say this: like for casual, I do have like I have more knowledge than like 95% of casual. I'll say that. But anyway, so like Kai Kara France, like I'll say based on history, I'll take Pantoja again. And Pantoja, he's cleared the fucking division like probably like what fucking 2 times now. Like the one guy he did not beat was Davison Figueiredo, who's out of the division now, and everyone else he's beat. And so like based on their history, he beat Kai once or twice already, and he's beat everyone else. So I will take Pantoja, but Kai, he did look really good in his last fight. I was expecting Steve Erceg to beat him, but Kai won, so I can like I'll give Kai a chance, but I'm going with Pantoja.
Okay, so you're gonna go for Pantoja on that one. I agree. I agree. Look, I think Pantoja is on a hot streak right now. I just think that once you get yourself in that hot streak, it's going to be very difficult for anybody, especially somebody with a 1-3 record. I mean, a 1-2 record in their last 3 fights, right? So let me read some of these comments right here. Okay, where did we start off? Okay, okay, wait. Let's see, where did we start off here? Okay, yeah. Viewer since day one, Matua, why? Matua says, because you lied about doing drugs. I don't know. Matua says, it's fun to call you a
This
liar or a
sucks.
coward. It feels at melon juice. Okay,
I've been
Red
talking
Hot
about
Chili
drugs so
Peppers.
much.
Hey, who's your favorite fighter, Kyrie? Who's my favorite fighter? Well, I can tell you who my favorite fighter is in boxing. I don't want to say who my favorite fighter is, nor should I have a favorite fighter in MMA because I want to be able to keep my mind pure when I try to give takes. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to help if I train with certain people or if I know certain people in the game. By the way, Borishev is going to be fighting on this card right here against Terrence McKenna in a 155 banger, by the way, right? So,
You trained with Uriah Faber, right?
yeah. Right out here in Sacramento, yeah.
Yo, I did
So
want to say one thing quickly because like the thing is like okay, you and I we're the opposite of lefties. We're not like far right to where it's like mentally ill, but like you're in fucking California. California, it's more left than fucking like the fucking Toronto. I'm in fucking Canada, and like a Toronto outside of Vancouver is like the most left you can get in Canada. But you're in California. Like, how do you live in like a place like that? I know like it's crazy with like gangs and shit, but like how do you live in such a leftist place that like because like you're like the opposite of that.
yeah, I just think that well, you got to understand, right? I think that I try to be very negotiative, right?
Right.
You know, I stay out of people's way for one. I mean, look, if I don't have to deal with them, I don't. But if I have to work with them or do something with them, obviously there's a certain negotiation that you're going to have to, apply in order to survive in society, right? That's just, the, natural way of life. But
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
there's also what you do find, okay, aside from how you live at home and how you pray and everything else, there's always a common ground that you'll find within your fellow man. Always.
Fair,
There's always
fair,
some
fair.
sort of common ground,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as long as you're able to find that common ground, I think that I think that you're able to function with that because look, here's the thing, right? Like there's certain people that I'm not going to allow around X Y Z to the other, right? There's certain people that I'm not going to allow in my life. There's certain so I think that's how I think anybody should go about it. And also I think the whole dynamic that people have, well, it's so bad, there's so many leftists here or so many right wing or this and that. I think that notion alone is just, I don't know, very non indicative of a person's a real life to life daily interaction,
Fair, fair.
and
Yeah.
I think the majority of Americans are centrist. I think that is fair to say. And I think the proof of that is you look at every uh, election cycle, it's a Republican, then it's a Democrat, then it's a Democrat, then it's a Republican. Sometimes it's a Republican twice in a row. and then other
The
times it's a
MMA
Democrat.
radicals?
What was that?
No, Vinny the Guinea calls me the MMA radicals.
Okay,
He's saying, I think he's saying I'm like, like one of those like far, like no, I think what he's saying is I'm one of those like far right, like neo-Nazi type, like like those crazy far right guys. No, that's not the case. Like I'm more
yeah,
of like a centrist, maybe like center right, to be honest. But like the thing is, like Toronto is like fucking crazy left, like Toronto, Canada, and California is fucking worse than that. So like, that's why I was asking Kyrie about all this stuff, because like I can barely fucking like live here, so I'm wondering how Kyrie lives there, but like he makes it work. So
yeah. Okay, so some comments here. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't really have a favorite fighter, but yeah, in boxing I will, because I'm not a main boxing channel, but yeah, that's just my rule of life on that. Fresh Melons, who says I don't. I'm a grown man. Drugs and alcohol is for teenagers. I think you're sort of right about that. Big Ank MMA says, any of you guys had a favorite of 2025 so far? For me, it was Nazim versus Moto. Oh yeah, that fight was a banger, right? Nazim was getting his butt whooped by Mota, and then out of nowhere he gets a knockout. Yeah, that was out in UFC Baku. You might be right, Melon Juice. Matua says. Matua also says, I'm just telling you what God told me to say to you. Okay, stuff a law on that, Matua. Fresh Melon Juice says, Matua, well, I'm not a Democrat, so you're wrong. Vinny the Guinea says, I notice this man's distant religion he claims and doesn't practice through just hearing his voice, by the way. Okay. The Mullins fight is the fight of the year so far. Okay. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, I like the Volk and the Diego egg. A woman's fight, Matua says. Melon Juice hates cantaloupes. Fresh Melon Juice says, Mullins fight was horrible. Big Ink says, LOL at Matua. Fresh Melon Juice says, I do. Matua says, what a liar. Nice Chili Peppers. That's a good mention. Matua says, synonymous for a liar. Guinea says, fibber. Matua says, spinner of a yarn. LOL. Matua says, fresh spinner of yarn. Red Hot Chili says, how old is Pantoja? Pantoja is 35. Matua says, Melon Juice hates mangoes. Big Ink says, my favorite boxer is Noah Inoue. Oh yeah, the Japanese boxer. He's man, he is dangerous at that weight class.
yeah, that guy's a savage. Yeah.
Matua MMA Casual says everything very quickly. Okay, we went over that. Matua Vinny the Guinea says DJ Cowlid. Cowlid. Okay, very interesting. Red Hot Chili Pepper says 35 at flyweight is the age thing where they start to decline. Wonder if his chin will go soon. A very interesting focal point in this fight, though. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Good observation. Inoue is a good man. Matua says 35 seems to be prime peak, but maybe for the higher weight classes. I don't know about the lower weight classes. Historically, that hasn't been a thing.
Is he talking about boxing or MMA?
MMA and fighting
in MMA, if you're 35, I think that's a little bit past prime, especially if you're above. Like, okay, so like, if you're like heavyweight, light heavyweight, even middleweight, welterweight, like 35 is not the biggest deal, but like like if you're not fucking like Volkanovski and or someone like that, and you're 35, then like if you're below welterweight and at 35, you're probably out of prime. Like that's my opinion, anyway. Unless you're Volkanovski, because like he's so close to it.
Okay, so at flyweight, at any weight, from what I observed, Matua says. Also, let's not forget Melon Juice hates watermelon. Very interesting. MMA the Guinea says MMA casuals, more like MMA internationals. Okay, well, I mean, he is an international guy, if you can say. Matua says, I'm a chicken wing. Mike Oslan says, Uriah Faber looks like a cool ass dude. Oh, he is, bro. Everything that you would expect in a California dude, he embodies that. And that's why he's a California kid. Everything that's cool about California is what Uriah embodies, the MMA radicals. Okay, yeah, you read that part. I am
Jamal,
right.
shut the fuck up, bitch.
I am super conservative, Matua says. Vinny the Guinea says, hey, MMA rash occurs. Okay, it does. Vinny the Guinea says MMA collaterals for the genocidal bombing his peoples do. LOL. Genocidal bombings. Yo, I don't think you understand who MMA cat. I mean, I don't know. I let MMA casuals speak on that in a second. Hold on. Jamal says, why is this guy reading the comments? Tell him to stay in his lane. Reading the comments. Why not? Why am I not going to read the comments? I mean, I'm very thankful for the engagement. I mean, look, there's going to be a point in time where I'm not going to be able to read all the comments.
Wait, what's talking about
right
you and me?
now, no, he's talking about to me. But
I thought he was talking about me.
No. But I get it. At some point, there's going to be a time where I'm not going to be able to read all the comments, especially when my page gets bigger. But right now, my page is big enough to, to get enough attention, but still small enough to read all the other comments. So I'm going to be very thankful for that until then. Matua says melon juice is a Baylor starter. I don't know what he means by that. Matua is a trans. Fresh melon juice says Matua is a trans on the weekends. Okay, we got a little rap battle going on here. Red Hot says Ruffy KOs over Bobby Green. Could KO of the year? No, possibly. Matua says melon juice secretly loves bacon grease. Okay, Jamal says Uriah favor is short. I swear to I'm on my way fourth watermelon today. You're on your fourth watermelon. Okay, Matua versus melon juice. Who wins? I don't know. I gotta see them in person first and see how they get down. Not UFC. Laughing my ass off, bro. How you talking politics and MMA? Why not? Why not? There's an obvious lane for it, so I'm going to, use that lane if I could. Matua says melon juice ain't a real melon. Jamal says, why does this guy keep acting like it's his channel? Who keeps acting like it's his channel? I mean, I don't know what Jamal meant by that. Red Hot says, I actually like how he reads the comments. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Matua says, LOL. Vinny the Guinea says, Jamal, say something interesting, you generic cookie cutter clone. Okay. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, Volk versus Ortega was such a great fight. Big Ink says, I'm trying to see Uriah Faber get a fight. He was supposed to get one on GFL, but it got canceled. Listen, you want to know
I agree with Big Ink. I think Jamal was talking about me, not you.
Uriah didn't even know about it. Oh, okay. We got silent in a room after I just said that. Yeah, that's right. He didn't even know about it. So there you go. Just like Kevin Lee, he didn't know about it. Just like Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold is somewhere in a photo shoot, doing his modeling thing. And they're like, hey, Luke, you're fighting again? What? I am? And then all of a sudden they show a poster of him. Next thing you know, he calls up his agent. Hey, what the F, man? What's going on? And the next thing they make phone calls. Then their lawyers start doing their little. You know what they lawyers do. And next thing you know, everybody's getting sued. Everybody's getting, their property taken. Everybody's catching litigations. And the rest is history, my man. So there you have it. So yeah, all of that was fake. All of that was fake, unfortunately. Yeah. So Jamal says, "Get this clown out of here." Who are you talking about, Jamal? Please be nice, man. We like everybody here, whether you're clowns, whether you're normal human beings, but we even like it even better if you're clowns or crash outs because it makes the chat even more fun, right? Yeah, the chat is getting spicy. Big Ink says, "Oh yeah, you're telling me, right?" Vinny the Guinea says, "Casuals equals Uriah Fibber." All right, Vinny. Vinny the Guinea says, "Vin is here. The dude I ate 100 barrels today. It's spicy. Red Hot Chili Peppers. What's your favorite division in the UFC? At least at Kyrie. What is my favorite division in the UFC? Okay, what is my favorite division in the UFC right now? I'm going to say 185. I think 185 is really spicy right now because I made a video. What's that?
No, I agree. I agree. Like
you agree? Okay, okay.
Yeah, for me, like lightweight, bantamweight, and middleweight. Those are like the three most stacked and the three most fun divisions to me. I'd say if we're going by most stacked top 15 wise, it'd probably be bantamweight at 1, and then probably maybe lightweight 2, middleweight 3. But like honestly, right now my favorite is probably the middleweight division, and then lightweight would be 2. But like that depends on this main event this weekend. To be honest, like if Charles gets that belt back, lightweight will be number 1.
Okay. So yeah, so that answers that question. Red Hot Big Ink says Kyrie. I was on Felony Bennett's treatment earlier, and I think you guys should collab one day. He has his own channel. Yeah, man. You know what? I actually may know a few people that can get across Charles Felony Bennett. So inshallah, I would like to make that happen. Big Ink says I think Jamal was talking about MMA casuals. Yeah, man. Jamal, love you, my man, but let's give our guests a warm welcome. We're not a toxic MMA channel here, although we can get toxic and we can get there, right? You've seen me, get on some trolls. You've seen me get really spicy and real gangster with some trolls. But overall, it's nice to be positive. It's nice to, have. But you know what? Realness is good too, and I think there's some realness.
You're welcome, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're welcome.
Yeah. So I think Jamal's was talking about MMA casuals. Vinny the Guinea says, me too, Ink. I'm just starting beef for the looks. Okay. So Red Hot Chili Pepper says, is GFL still getting sued? You damn right they're getting sued right now. Okay. And like I said, what do lawyers do best? You're sued. You're sued. You're sued. You're sued. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid. You're sued. You're sued. Okay, so you understand where I'm going with this, okay? They do their little magic and you know the rest. MMA community afraid of words, shit, madness. Okay, Red Hot Chili Pepper says, I subbed. I enjoyed your vibe. Man, thank you, my man. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed MMA Casual's vibe as well. Kevin Lee got the worst matchup after the whole GFL mess. Well, I mean, Kevin Lee is fighting in the PFL, right? And obviously he got knocked out recently. We like characters over here, you generic Jamal. Well, I tell you what, Vinny the Guinea, I'm certainly a character, ain't I? You know what I mean? I try to, I don't even try to be a character, but, well, I think if you like characters, I think you came to the right place. Vinny the Guinea says, Kevin Lee fit into all, how did Kevin Lee fit into all this? Obviously, the GFL talk. Kevin Lee. Vinny the Guinea says, Fresh Melon Juice says, dude, you spoke normal right now. Casuals, do an impression of Mr. Flanders. How
Who's
dare
Mr. Flanders? Wait, who's Mr. Flanders?
A character from The Simpsons. He's Homer's Christian neighbor. Vinny the Guinea says, be yourself, LOL. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, thanks for the answers, MMA Casuals. Totally, you asked that question. The Life of Fighting says, Alhamdulillah, shout out to the Life of Fighting and everybody in Tennessee, my man. Fresh Melon Juice says, hippopotamus. Fresh Melon Juice says, superfragilisticdocious. Yeah, okay. That very
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's not even the longest. No, but that's not even the longest word. The longest word, it literally has 100, like over 100,000 letters, and it takes like I don't know how long to fucking say it. Like at least several hours to fucking say the whole word. It's fucked. It's fucked.
Okay, Vinny the Guinea says GFL meet the ACL. Oh my goodness, the ACL, the ACL. Yeah, the anti. How about the Anti-Defamation League? All right, let's not go there. All right. Vinny the Guinea says, Kyrie, you're a genuine guy. Thank you, my man. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, Buddy doesn't know The Simpsons. Well, I mean,
I didn't watch The Simpsons, but I growing up, like I watched like maybe a few episodes. I know it's still the longest running weekly, or not the weekly, but the longest running television series to this day, I believe. But like, I know who Homer is, I know who Bart is, I know who Lisa is, I know who Marge is. Like, I know there's that other like little sister, but and like I know like of a few other characters by face, but not by name. Like, it's not a show I watched a lot.
Okay. So Red Hot Chili Peppers throws an emoji at you with some glasses. Vinny the Guinea says, the longest word is cancer, laughing my butt off. Vinny the Guinea says, my mom taught me. Life of Fighting says, you remember I am from Tennessee. I really appreciate that, my man. Yeah, man. Big love to everybody in the South and everybody across the United States. I got followers around the world. but of course, I always appreciate the support that I get in the United States as well, because after all, it's a great country, and the rest. Big Ang says I grew up on a family and American dad. Okay, Big Ang says Family
He's
Guy.
on Family Guy. He's on Family Guy.
Okay. Vinny the Guinea says he was a rabbi school, no goyim in TV allowed.
I'm not a fucking Jew, bro. What do you think I am, nigga?
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, he has. Well, you look, you listen. To your own disclosure is to your own wishes, right? But yeah, listen. If he's telling you he's not a Jew, please believe him, because I believe him, and I'm the guy that knows him in real life. So let's just put it like that. Okay, so Family Guy is better. Anyways, Red Hot Chili Pepper says, "Where are you from, Kyrie?" I'm from Sacramento, California. Represent. Vinny the Guinea says South Park is the best
believe me, Vinny.
comedy. Red Hot Chili Peppers says, "Where? Sacramento, California." My man. Kyrie, did you catch the UFC BJJ? Frank Mir daughter won and Mike Musasi won. Oh, okay. Frank Mir daughter is competing now. I know she was a college wrestler, so that should be interesting to see that transition. But no, I got to check out UFC BJJ. Fresh Melon Juice says, your guest reminds me of Durbin from Netflix series Tires, Shane Gillis's buddy. Okay, I haven't seen that.
What is Durbin? What is Tires, and who is Shane Gillis?
I have no idea who he is, honestly referring to, my man. But yeah, believe him, Vinny. He says, Vinny the Guinea says 100 accusations, and he just now said he's not the one fishy. Get fishy, he says.
Okay, fishy. I don't know what that means, but like, I'm not a Jew. Like,
yeah, so,
I remember the first appearance I made on your channel. I said something that was anti-Jew, and
MMA says, and then Vinny
he said
N-word,
very
divisive of you. I believe you for now. Okay.
I didn't say it with the hard ER. I say it with the hard ER in my city because of how left it is. I yell it in the streets, but I'm not going to say it on Kyrie's channel because I respect Kyrie and I don't want to fuck his channel.
Okay, so Gerben, Fresh Melons, who says Gerben is an actor and a comedian who stutters when he talks. Okay, Gaffala is a Jewish dish. Okay, he pronounced it perfectly and said,
I said Gafelta, and I've never heard of it in my life.
I mean, look, he's from Toronto, for crying out loud. I mean, you know who the king of Toronto is? The king of Toronto is a Jew, for crying out loud. Come on now. You know what I mean? They not like us. They not like us. A minor. Okay, you know the rest. You know the rest. You know the beef. You know what it is. So, my man, is there anything else that you noticed about this card that you liked, or that you enjoyed, or that you are looking forward to? What else can you tell me about this card?
Wait. Big on MMA. I'm answering your question right now. So, I saw Mike Malott fight at UFC.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, to answer your question. Oh, okay. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
My apologies.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, I watched Mike Malott fight live at UFC 297 in January 2024. It was on the Strickland versus DDP undercard, and the thing is, I hate it's weird because like I'm actually like Muslim born and raised, but I hate most Muslim fighters, and I'm Canadian, but I hate all Canadian fighters. Like I was rooting for Neil Magny to win, and Mike Malott was originally dominating him, but but when Neil Magny won the fight, everyone in the arena got so butthurt, and I was the only happy guy in the arena. But Mike Malott, outside of that,
goodness, I'm surprised those Canadians didn't jump you for that, dude. Like, really? Like, you were the only one happy that Mike Malott lost? And then this is the Strickland DDP fight, right? The first one.
Yeah. The first time they fought, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the first time they fought, yeah.
Okay, man. So, did anybody look at you funny after, like, you were happy and glee about the loss of, Mike Malott? I mean, I'm sure there were people in there.
No. Because to be honest,
jump this fool, bro.
No. To be honest, outside of that main event, I wasn't like super passionate about any fight. Like I wanted Neil Magny to win. Also, just because I knew who he was, I didn't know who the fuck Mike Malott was. But that being said,
like I was kind of emotionless for the whole card up until the main event because that's what I fucking paid to go watch. And like, bro, I like DDP way more now. I'm not a Strickland fan anymore, but at that time it was the opposite. I like Strickland a lot. I did not like DDP, and I was biased at the time. And I was like, I'm like, bro, fuck this fight. It's a robbery. I was saying all that shit, but nah, that fight was not a robbery. DDP won, and he destroyed Strickland in the rematch. And yeah, that was great.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. For sure. You know,
Who's Larry
nobody
David?
really gave you static for that, man.
Wait, who's Larry David?
Larry David? Are they talking about Larry David?
Yeah.
Larry David, he's a Jewish comedian. He says, "Cool picture, Kyrie. Uriah flow for your favor is a real one. That's dope. What a cool experience." He says, "Wow, you talked to Khabib's dad." Yes, man. Yes. You know, so bro, that's a Khabib's dad. Yup. 2020. You know, during the pandemic. You know, well, or at least before the pandemic, rather. Obviously, yeah, and then yeah. So, yeah, man.
Oh, yo, are you a WWE fan?
Are you talking about the belt?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I have with the belt, okay, I have my Taekwondo medal that I won when I was 12 years old, right? And the reason why I have this up here is because it reminds me that my martial arts is, how do I say this, influenced by, you know, my childhood memories. So that's why I put that's why I put a real, you know, Taekwondo medal right next to the WWE belt as a reminder of that. So yeah.
Wait, but like, do you like watch it to this day?
No, not as much
because like it's not entertaining anymore. Like it was entertaining at one point, but like it's been bad for such a long time. I just lost interest.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think there's just too much MMA going on. Oh, Fresh Melon Juice says I'm a WWE fan. Red Hot Chili Pepper says so cool. Vinny the Guinea says, hey, did you ask Uriah if he can afford a python yet? A python. Yes. Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about when him and Conor McGregor got into that, got into that little thing, right? Where I think Uriah was making fun of his Irish accent, and then he called Uriah a 50-year-old skater. I was like, you know, to this day, Uriah still laughs about that. You know, Christian actually. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, Chili Peppers, are you Muslim? Okay, so he says he's Christian. Red Hot Chili Peppers says, Islam Makhachev is my favorite fighter. Love to see him. Love to send some cards I got of him to AKA and try to get him signed. Do you think that would work? I don't know, man. I don't know how that logistics is going to work because I don't even know your real name. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit hard. But you know what? I will try and, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I could do with that. It's a very hard logistics question, right? You know, imagine if they fought Conor and Faber. You know what, bro? Listen, Uriah Faber was close to getting that call against Conor McGregor. Remember that Nate Diaz? He was in town. Okay, he was ready to go, but it was McGregor that ultimately chose the opponent he wanted. Nate was, you know, I don't know, man. You know, he could have chose Uriah. I mean, make of that as you will. But I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say that at the time, Chad Mendes was a better fighter than Uriah. So if you saw what happened with Chad Mendes, given that it was short notice, I don't know, man. I still think, you know what, at some point, Chad Mendes could still beat Conor McGregor.
Yeah, like if they both came into the fight with a full camp, like I'm talking about both of them because the fight was short notice for both of them. But like if they both came in on a full camp, who knows how that fight would have went? But yeah, Chad Mendes at the time was better than Uriah Faber, but all time Uriah Faber for sure is way greater. He's actually won titles in the WEC at least.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely has, right? Just not so much in the UFC. I mean, obviously he's had a few runs in the UFC, uh, title runs, title fights, but that was about it really. Yeah, Connor was Connor was also supposed to fight RDA one time, correct? Vinny the Guinea says, I've been praying for Islam's eyes full of tears religiously since 2018. Man, he's one of my favorite humans ever. Uh, Red Hot Chili Pepper says, "Oh, I meant me just mailing them with their return envelope inside so they can sign it and send it back. I'd also write a nice letter to him because he's been a big inspiration in my life, man. Yeah, shout outs to you on that, my man." Vinny the Guinea says Connor is busy losing fights to grape allegations. Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Bro, Connor's an
Coming up next.
actual rapist. Yo, Connor's an actual rapist. That ain't no lie.
Yeah, well, you know what? And it happens to be the one case where he really didn't do anything that got him caught up, and that kind of tells you how karma works,
No,
doesn't it?
but
Karma
I'm
hits you.
not even talking about that particular case. Like he's just like he's done it like how many times? Like that guy is actually fucked up, bro. Like Connor's an actual rapist. Like people were already people were already fucking calling him a rapist before this shit happened. But like honestly, bro, like who knows how many times he's done it? But he's definitely a rapist. Like there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, Fresh Melons, who says Connor's been fighting more than many UFC fighters lately. Vinny the Guinea says McGregor battling the urge to do stuff to random women's bones. Okay, Red Hot Chili Pepper says same Vinny loves Islam Makhachev. Big Ink says disappointed Connor didn't fight Chandler. Oh man, that was a big disappointment. I remember doing a video when I was in the border of Mexico talking about how this fight is never going to happen. I remember doing a video on that, right? McGregor versus Chandler in the Mexican, and I was in the Mexican border in San Diego when I filmed that. I'm going to show you guys right now, real quick. Okay, right in the border of Mexico. Michael and Chandler, where is it? Right here. 2 years ago. This was 2 years ago. In the border of Mexico, and McGregor won't fight Chandler. Right here. Well, not exclusive. It's been out for 2 years. So is in the borderline of Mexico and California. 100 miles to the north, it is Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. Where am I? I am located in San Diego, in Legoland, out of all places. And I want to tell you why Conor McGregor and the Michael Chandler fight is not going to happen. Well, for one, Conor McGregor seems to have a lot of legal issues going on right now. And although a lot of these accusations seem flimsy and the intentions behind it seem to be monetary driven rather than justice or trying to seek some sort of compensation for some kind of
Fuck
trauma
Connor the
that this
rapist.
person is accusing Conor McGregor of, it's still a burden nonetheless. A burden that he has faced all throughout this years with accusations after accusations. Some may have plausible reasons, and then some just absolutely ridiculous in its in the way that they're trying to convey the story, right? But nonetheless, even if he was to be cleared and to compete against Michael Chandler, the one thing you got to ask yourself is if this guy is competition ready, because yeah, is he competition in the past ready? Few months, while he was filming The Ultimate Fighter, the guy was getting drunk almost every day. Doesn't seem to be a conducive life. And 2 years later, he's doing the same thing. Style to getting ready for a top 5 lightweight. Chandler. Now, when he fought Khabib, this was really no different in that aspect. So how is it going to be any different now? It doesn't really seem like it will be. All right, so there it is, right from the borders of Mexico and the United States, and here we are where we're trying to send some of them back there again with the recent riots that have been going on. So yeah, the fight definitely didn't happen. So that was absolutely yeah. Connor used to be motivated, but the money got to him. Big Ink MMA says Red Hot Chili Peppers gives the love emoji sign. Vinny the Guinea says, in my world, McGregor would have been stoned in 2017 for the first rape. Okay, Red Hot Chili Pepper says, do you think John Jones retiring instead of fighting Tom leaves a huge stain on his legacy? temporarily. I think later on, I think history is going to be very forgiven to him, especially if, God forbid, Tom Aspinall loses. I think it does personally at Kyrie, although I do think that he is one of the GOATs. Okay, so Vinny the Guinea says, remember when Rampage called himself a Mick? Okay, Vinny the Guinea says McChandler. Vinny the Guinea says petition to stone McGregor. Oh my goodness, man! You guys got some, crazy comments here. But yeah, man. So 2 years later, here we are, man. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on Connor being a rapist. He is a rapist.
Okay. Well, no, I mean like the fight not happening. I mean, obviously,
Bro, Connor's the biggest bitch ever, bro. Bro, what? Okay, Michael Chandler, like, he's a bit of a clown for thinking Connor would fight him, but like, Connor's actually a bitch for like doing all this shit, bro. And like, our boy Eric, like Eric Trilogy, shout out to him. Like, I was talking with him today, but like, yeah, I know Connor's his, like, like his client or whatever, but yeah,
by
Connor's
the way,
a
for
bitch.
those that don't know, Eric Trilogy is a former training partner of mine. I trained jujitsu a lot with him at Team Alpha Male, and he is now McGregor's nutritionist. Also, Logan
Also
Paul
Jake Paul's,
and
also
Jake
Jake.
Paul's
Yeah,
nutritionist.
yeah,
So
no,
no big deal.
Jake Paul, like Jake Paul, I like, I'm a fan of, but Connor's a bitch. Like, fuck Connor. Yeah,
Yeah.
like when I talk with Eric, like I'm objective. I'm like, bro, like Connor, he's a bitch, and like I'm not gonna say whether Eric agrees with me or not, but like I always support.
Eric's pretty objective as well.
Yeah, he is,
closed doors. Very objective behind closed doors.
Yeah. I didn't want to say anything on here though. That's the thing. But yeah, no, he is very objective. But like, I always support Jake though. I always support Jake to him. But yeah, when it comes to Connor, bro, Connor's a bitch. Like, that's all I'll say.
All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to read off these last few comments and then just final thoughts on UFC 317 this week. Big Ang says, I still think Jones is the best no matter what the fans think of Tom. Red Hot Chili Pepper says, just wish he would fought Tom, man. The fight would have fed families. Vinny the Guinea says, Ank Reyes is one of the best. Then Gus beats Jones in the second fight. So he did. Tiago on one leg. Jones gets obliterated by Ank. Red Hot Chili Pepper says Reyes was one to the legitly beat Jones. Jones is not the GOAT to miserable people. Fresh Melon Juice says. Big Ink says Jones' resume speaks for itself. Vinny, he has no L's but finishing and nothing like GSP, who lost to Matt Serra and Matt Hughes. And Vinny the Guinea says Gus beats Jones badly. Bring up the second fight. The stuff, he stuffed everything and won every exchange, and then obviously he beat Gus pretty badly. So final thoughts on UFC 317 this week. And by the way, guys, also check out my full card description. By the way, this is how. So give me final thoughts on on UFC 317 as I play a preview of my full card predictions. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll give predictions for the main card fights that I don't give a shit about first. Okay, I don't know who the fuck Peyton Talbot's opponent is. Like I haven't heard of the guy before, so I'm just gonna say he wins, even though I think Peyton Talbot sucks. And then Beneil Dariush versus Hanato Moicano. I like both guys, but Beneil's like way past prime. I think Hanato takes his handily. Acosta versus Kopylov, that was canceled. And then like there's another fight. Roy Val versus that Joshua Van. Joshua Van, he's a very active guy. He's a savage, but Roy Val should take it. And then co-main, I already said that Pantoja probably wins again. And then the main event, man, I love both these guys, but Charles is my all-time favorite. I'm rooting for him. I can see the fight going either way. I can see either fighter winning by finish or submission or decision. By finish, whether it be submission or knockout or decision. Like I can see them winning in either round. Like I can literally see that fight going any way possible. It's so unpredictable, and they're both just super fun to watch. I really want Charles, but like Ilya's hard to pick against right now. Like he just has this confidence, this aura, and like like I'd be lying if I said I was picking Charles to win. So I'll go Ilya, but I want Charles. I really want Charles, and that's my final thoughts on the card. How about you?
So, with that in mind, I obviously have a full card prediction that you guys can check out if you want my thoughts on that. I'm going to let you guys get reference to that video. So it is the latest video that I have, 40 minutes long. It gives you a breakdown. I'm going to show it to you right now. But for now, guys, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm going to leave it off with these last comments. And I'm going to show you a preview of my video, and I urge you guys to watch it on your own while I play it over here as well. So
Fresh
Fresh
Melon
Melon
Juice
Juice says
Habib is such a fraud, bro.
he would probably have become a GOAT if he continued.
John Jones just didn't want to deal with the delusional Habib fans. That's it. That's why he said that.
So then Red Hot Chili Pepper says, I think KKF can KO Pantoja. If I'm not just familiar with Kai Car France's ground game, it sucks. He gets submitted 100%. Red Hot Chili Peppers also says, I wish Khabib's father never passed away. Yeah, man. But, you know, it is Allah's will by the end of the day, right? Not our own. He would have had an even better career. And with that in mind, that is the best way to end that video. I'm actually going to pin this video right here, and I'm going to show you guys the latest video that I have going on with my predictions for UFC 317. By the way, you guys are going to enjoy this, so check out the intro on this with visuals too on top of it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one, inshallah. I'm going to play this until I keep playing it, and then from there, just reference back to this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right? UFC 317 this weekend, International Fight Week, June 28, 2025. Will Charles Oliveira defeat the favorite Ilia Topuria? Well, many of Charles Oliveira's supporters seem to think he's in to doubt Charles. We have no reason to doubt him at all, but Ilia Topuria has been looking really good in his training. And by the way, it's the same fight day as Jake Paul versus Cesar Chavez Jr. Very interesting international fight week, to say the least. However, we're going to get to the reality of this fight and how this is going to go, the mistakes that Charles Oliveira has made in the past, and the unbeatable streak that Ilia Topuria has going on. Let's get to it. Now, just right before we get to the full card and the kicks and punches that deal with the main event and the co-main event, I want to say that I think it's a bit of a travesty that Ilia Topuria can't win the double championship, at least on the official basis. Now, he has said and proclaimed when and if he wins, he's going to hold two belts up, symbolizing that he was the 145 champion, whether current or not, and becoming a new 155 champion as that tradition that Conor McGregor started with holding two belts at once. Although the ones before him who were double champions, they did it. Guys, go check out the rest of that video. It's on my video section. See ya. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and peace be unto you as well, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Shout out to Fresh Melon Juice. Shout out to Red Hot Chili Peppers. Shout out to Big Ank MMA. Shout out to MMA Casuals. Also, Vinny the Guinea. A whole list of people in here. Marty Miller. Shout outs to you. Yes. Sorry, I didn't miss that comment on the
Shout out to Big Ank. Shout out to Big Ank MMA. Shout out to Matua. Those guys. And yeah, yo, thanks for having me on, Kyrie. Honestly, bro, yeah, Charles winning it get me back into MMA a lot more. Hopefully, we can do this again soon. It was great coming on.
Yeah, man. Likewise, my man. Likewise. You know, and I always enjoyed having you on. Thank you for tapping in, and everybody around the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Check out my full card prediction for this one on the video section, and also come tap in for a live stream this weekend. I will be live. You're more than welcome to join. I may have a couple of guests on as well, including you. So, yeah, let me know ahead of time, man. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah.
All right, later.